Hi, how to learn English language? This is a rarely discussed question. Let us delve into the depths of how to learn English language, how to master the language. You may need to take a pen and paper to take notes. Now, how can we learn English language? First of all, you have to understand that you cannot learn a language, you can only acquire it. What do I mean by that? Unlike our school subjects, science, geography, history, yes, these English language is not logical. It cannot be learned or by hearted. You have to acquire it like any other language. Your mother tongue, yes, it cannot be learned. Yes, see, for example, if it is science, you can learn and understand the scientific concepts. If it is history, you can learn and by heart the sequence of events that has happened. But this is not possible with English language. The approach to learn English language is different. This is what we are going to discuss in today's video. Before that, let us discuss why English language is important. It is important for your job. It might be important if you are traveling to a different place. Also, it might be important for you if you want to learn more, if you want to learn more about English culture. Yes, it simply opens a lot of doors for you. English language opens a lot of doors for you, lot of opportunities in your lives. Now, I like to bring in a comparison of English language learning. I said that it cannot be compared with scientific learning or with historical understanding. No, it cannot be learned similarly, but it can be compared with driving skills. Yes, or maybe cycling. It is something that you acquire with a lot of practice. It is a skill. Okay. Now with that, let us move on to the how to develop English language skills. Yes, let us move on to that. For this, I want you to imagine your childhood. I want you to imagine how you mastered your native language, your mother tongue. How did you master it? For the first 2 years, almost 2 years, you were simply listening to the native language. You were listening to your parents, to your grandparents, to your siblings, or whoever were around you. You were just listening to them speak the particular language. After that, you started making sounds and responding with words and then forming sentences, isn't it? Phrases and then sentences. So, first you were listening for 2 years, then you tried to make sounds and later on words and phrases and then sentences. And after that, you learned how to read each letter. Yes, you learned how to match the sounds with the letters. And after that, you learned how to read whole words and sentences. And later on in school, you learned how to write. After that, we learned grammar, isn't it? But is this how we taught you, the teachers community taught you how to learn English or how to speak English? Did you ever get a chance to listen to proper English for maybe a couple of years at least? Most of us didn't have that opportunity. So the fault lies not with the students, the fault lies with the system, that how it was taught. That is a problem. So I am trying to address the issue here by giving you tips and tricks and techniques on how to master the English language. First of all, If you want to acquire English language, whether it is listening, speaking, reading, or writing, you have to build a context. You have to understand the context in which you are speaking. That means in listening you have to identify who the speakers are. Yes. And you have to understand whether it is a formal context or an informal context, whether this conversation that you're listening to is formal or informal. It's happening in an office setting or in an academic setting, or it is happening in a personal space like within a family. Also, you have to understand the attitudes and opinions of the speakers. You have to understand that from their facial expression, from the tone of their voice. Then you have to, when you speak, yes, when you speak again, you have to understand the context in which you are going to speak. And you should make it a point that the words should flow to you within 0 seconds. Within 0 seconds. There shouldn't be any thinking or any, fumbling for words. Yes, you shouldn't struggle to find the exact word. Okay, that is a fluency. Okay, the third one is reading. Again, to understand reading skills is the least important, or which is least taught in schools or colleges for that matter. So reading skills is again something that you have to learn, you have to acquire. You have to spend time understanding how to make the connection between heading and subheading and the various features of the passage or the text. You have to understand all this. Then, here I can suggest something to you, because most of the students complain that they do not get the exact words when they want to speak, or they do not understand the words when they read a particular passage, story, or text. Now, in this context, you can download a PDF which is called Academic Word List. Academic Word List, which has basically all the most common academic words, the words that are used in scientific journals, and everything is available as a list. I think it is around 5 or 6 pages, around 500 or to 600 words are there. So you can download the PDF, and you can go through the words, and you will have a rich vocabulary. And if you are finding this quite advanced, you can go to the basic, the common words, the simple common words. They are 2000 in number, and it is called as General Service List. Again, this you can simply Google search and you will find it. So download these two PDFs so that you will have a rich vocabulary. You will know most of the words that are used in English language. Then the third, or the last one, the fourth, sorry, not the third, the fourth one, that is the writing skills. Again, in writing skills, definitely you have to understand the context. You have to understand who you are writing to, why you are writing to. Is it formal? Is it informal? Yes, you have to understand the context. And you should know how to develop your ideas. Yes, in writing, you have to make sure that you develop your ideas logically in a sequential way. After this, you learn the grammatical rules and regulations, or the grammatical structures. Now, I would like to talk about what is the difference between the native language, between your native language and English language. So, this is another important aspect that you have to look into. If you want to really understand English language, if you really want to learn, acquire, and master the English language, you will have to know what is the difference between your native language, your mother tongue, and English language. My mother tongue is Malayalam, and in Malayalam, or in most of the Indian languages, it is phonetic in nature. That means the sounds in English language correspond to the letters. So there is a corresponding letter to each sound in my mother tongue. In English language, that is not the case. There are just 26 letters in English language, but there are 44 different sounds that these 26 letters can make. So you have to understand such differences, such nuances, yes, such differences between the English language and your own mother tongue. And after this, you have to look into the persuasion skills and how to tell a story, yes, storytelling, persuasion skills, all that comes after this. Then you will have to know how to agree and disagree, how to describe things. Yes, so these are all things that you have to learn, or these are all skills that you should master if you want to acquire English language well. Now let's